Welcome back to Safa's Unscripted episode, whatever. Boys, we've done it 2 in a row, actually 4 in a row. Just tightening our grip on the Rugby Championship. We said this is the expectation. Obviously, we'll get into the game of South Africa versus the All Blacks. We'll get into the thrashing of the Wallabies, the unexpected thrashing, in my opinion. We'll chat about that as well. But first and foremost, boys, how are we feeling? Brett?
Yeah, so I thought I was hosting this episode. So welcome back to Sappers and Scrum. Joking. Good introduction. Over the moon. Obviously having a cup of tea in my favorite mug, just to show the world that once a Sapper, always a Sapper.
Yeah. Breva?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Great weekend. But yeah, I mean, especially like with the box, it's so good to see, and just in a brief nutshell, it's so good to see that we winning games even when we aren't at our best, I feel like there's so much more that team can do. So because obviously we used to see a Springbok side that if they were caught off on their off day, they would lose. And now it's like on their off day, they're getting results, which is huge when it comes to rugby. It's a massive thing to have. So, yeah, super happy with that.
Yeah. So before we just get into the breakdown, as always, please do remember to like and subscribe. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys, and thank you for your love and support as always. Boys, I have to start this episode off. I think I need to hold my hands up. 100 Pollard was good.
We told you.
Good. Yeah, I watched the game this morning because I wasn't in let's say the right headspace last night. Okay, I had a bit of fun. So when I watched it this morning, I was like, well, Pollard looked back to his best there. He actually carried the ball nicely. He looked strong.
Yes.
He looked pretty quick. And that's kind of what literally in the previous episode I said I want to see. Right? I said I want to see Pollard prove me wrong. I'll hold my hands up. He looked class yesterday. And to be fair, Jaden Hendricks also looked good.
I'll give him his credit. I was going to in this episode.
Just a little disclaimer to everybody that's watching this. At halftime, just after halftime, on our WhatsApp group, Casual said, Pollard is playing like complete shit. And I actually got angry and I said, Pollard playing shit? Are we watching the same game? Because I obviously was in a right mind space. I watched the game on 90 inches of TV. So I had a better view than a guy that had a bit of beer goggles on. Pollard.
Yeah, I mean, half the time I was watching the TV, half the time, do I still have enough drinks left before I have to get the next one, So I was just like, I don't even know why I said it on the group. But when I watched it this morning, I was like, you should have been way more harsh on me after I said that. That was absolutely ridiculous. Breva, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, everything he did was just, people forget who 100 Pollard is. Like, sure, he may not be the most attacking fly-off, but that doesn't mean he doesn't bring other things to the game that other fly-offs don't. I mean, he just looks super composed, and he did add that variation of, attacking the line. He even made a few line breaks. I mean, what more could you want, And Personally, I think when Sasha came on, Sasha made a few errors here and they looked a bit frantic. I made decision-making. But you could see he wasn't 100%, After that first tackle when he broke the line, I think it was, you could see he got up and he was like, yes, I'm not feeling it on that leg. So Pollard, as a backup fly-off, which I think he is at the moment, coming off the bench, or 12, it's like the greatest option to have. I mean, you have a guy who's won 2 World Cups, ice in his veins, coming off the bench. I mean, it's crazy. So
yeah. Listen, just to wrap up on the Pollard thing, like obviously, I didn't feel I was being stupid with the previous episode, right? Like if Pollard can play like this every single game, I would have absolutely no issues. I don't think what I said was necessarily the most unwarranted things, and I'm not going to be a flip-flopper, but if he can play like he played yesterday every single game, no issues whatsoever. Literally zero. But anyway, boys, we got the second victory at Newlands. We expected it kind of, right? But how good was the performance as a whole for you guys? Brett?
Yeah, firstly, it wasn't Newlands, it was Cape Town Stadium, but close enough.
Yeah, whatever.
Revan.
My thoughts. Yeah, look, I don't think we were all that great, eh? I think we had moments where we were showing potential. Personally, I think we could have won a lot further. I think if we were better at the breakdown, I mean, first of all, you're probably taking a few points off the All Blacks if you're better at the breakdown, and you're probably adding a few. So I think, look, at the end, like I said in the beginning, it's so good that our lineouts were not great, but it's good to have those things go wrong and then still be able to win. Another thing is, and our coach always tells us this. He says, "How can you guys dominate 3 or 4 scrums in the beginning, and then you kind of start losing the battle, right?" And that's something we've always tried, or personally as a player, I've tried to always like, if you're getting dominance in a scrum, and I'm just going to use the scrum, it's almost like that's your winning. That's you winning your battle, and you should continue to win it because first scrum, everyone's level fitness-wise, everything's the same, and you should be able to constantly dominate in the scrums, which I felt like we were up and down in scrums. Obviously, lineout's terrible. Could be a lot better. But what I will say is to keep the All Blacks tryless is it's weird. We defended well, but then we'd also let them, break the line a few times on the outside, which is fine if your shadow defense is looking good like it was for us. So, yeah, definitely things to work on. But otherwise, I think it was a very just mediocre, but good, a bit high, more towards good. I'm going to say that. Yeah.
Just above average.
Yeah, maybe just above average. I think there's so much more to offer from them.
Brett, do you agree? Do you have the same? Do you share the same sentiment?
I do and I don't, because there's things that I picked up in the midway through the first half where the All Black scrum half stole that ball. Then I started paying attention to the rucks, because we're not slouches at the rucks. Like the box aren't always slouches at the rucks. Then I started noticing that this performance from the All Blacks was straight out of the Richie McCaw playbook. Playing the player, which is influencing the ref. So what they did was, and I'm pretty sure some experts will point this out in the week to come, the All Blacks would tackle the guy and then drive around the other way of the ruck. So they'd by accidentally just bump into a Springbok player and then go back to their side, which takes off a half a second of the Springbok getting to that ruck. Every single ruck after the one from the scrum off, I paid attention, they took the player out that is coming to the ruck. Just like an accident. Like you'd run into him, or he'd be like trying to stand up and then I'd stand into his way. Just it takes off a half a second and then the All Blacks steal the ball. And then what made it funny for me was getting all these penalties, you have the momentum. Why are you kicking for goal? You are the All Blacks. Why are you kicking for goal? Why didn't you call a scrum on that penalty just before halftime? Why wouldn't you call a scrum there? Or a line out or something attacking? 7 points is better than 3.
And the way McKenzie was kicking as well, I don't know why.
Oh, he had a shocker. Very
game for me from the All Blacks. But you'll see that's a tactic that they've tried, and it obviously worked because the ref didn't even pick up on one of them.
Yeah. Like the Jasper Visa one. Very well done. Well, not well. It's dark arts. That's all you can really say about it. Like, very key, robbed that yellow card. Like, literally, he was like, I'm going to make this ref believe that Jasper took me out.
Yes.
And it was clear as day. He literally just ran into Jasper. And they did that very well. I mean, literally, like you said, back from when the All Blacks were so good at those dark arts at breakdown, they like rolled back the days because, jeepers, I think they had like over 10 holding on penalties. It was crazy. It was like, or holding the player in the ruck and not rolling, like when Eben made that tackle, he gets trapped, and then they just line him. And then,
and DJ Perenara is quick to call that stuff out. DJ Perenara, right? That guy talks to the ref the whole time. Like, if he had Andrew Brace again, he'd get whistled once again. He just doesn't stop yapping. Yapping.
on TJ Perenara, I think he's the reason that they lost. He is trying so hard to be a Nick White. It's actually getting ridiculous. Like the last test in Joburg and this one in Cape Town, the refs were annoyed with him, like properly frustrated, like shut up already, like it's enough. Like that's the reaction I got from the refs. They went bossmal over TJ Perenara, and I thought that even that one where he took the ball and threw it into Billy's face, like he's there to be what people say scrum offs should do, instead of actually playing rugby, because he thought he'd climb under people's skin and be irritating and stuff. And TJ Perenara, I felt cost him the game.
Yeah, Brett, you mentioned something about milking it, right? We can all agree that Kolbe milked that.
I said
obstruction. Like he was obstructed, right? And fair enough. But the way Kolbe just lunged and jumped and stuff, like a proper little bit of footballing coming out of him there. And then you add that with what he did against, Ireland. He did the same thing there. People are going to start hating on him.
This one was more legit because there was a shift in direction and a shoulder drop. So, yes, Kolbe, he did dive, but regardless of the dive, it was still a penalty.
Yeah, you just try to make sure that we get it, right?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Otherwise he would have just bumped and then stood there. But he was like, I'm going to make sure I'm diving, and I'm going to make sure I snap Adi Surveyor's ankle with it, because he nearly broke his foot. Like, full body weight just coming down on him.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
I do want to add something now that I've said this in I think few episodes ago, and I'm going to stand by it. Cheslin Kolbe is hands down the best rugby player on planet Earth.
I agree.
I say Peter Steph-Tutoy is the best forward by far, and it's not even close. But the best rugby player on this planet, it's not DuPont, it's not anybody from Ireland, it's Cheslin Kolbe. I mean, just look at the lineup that he took. And then he runs through the whole New Zealand. Then he bounces Bowden Barrett twice in the same run.
Was he man of the match?
Bounced him going back.
No, it was Delende.
What?
Oh, this was Kolbe man of the match.
No, Dalenda was man of the match. But also, Damien Dalenda, besides Geordie Barrett, had the most running meters the whole game. And he crossed the gain line the most. Damien Dalenda was very, very good. But I thought Cheslin Kolbe, the things that he can do on a rugby field, it's
so insane. Crazy. Like when it was it off that line? I think it was off a line out or something, or we fumbled the ball somewhere. And Sia popped it to Cheslin, and he literally just had All Blacks everywhere. And he just was like, okay, I see a little gap in front of me, and he took it. And I mean, the guy's vision and his footwork, I mean, everything about him is being able to play scrum off, and then even hooker for that matter. And throw a perfect line out throw.
The fact that four hookers played, but a wing at the best line-out percentage, line-out success rate, tells you everything you need to know. And I think some of these Springboks was out to literally shut us up, right? Because I spoke about Pollard. Pollard shut me up, right? Brevan said, I can't believe Dylan is not carrying anymore, albeit the system thing. Most run meters, most carry meters. He looked back to his old self. Brett, I can't think of anything silly you've said.
I never say anything wrong. I'm always perfect.
Well, to be fair, I didn't say Damien's an idiot for not running. I just said I'd like to see him carry more.
No, but that's why I said, albeit the system, right, that he had to play. Yeah, but yesterday he came out and he said, listen, I took that personally. He said, Brevan Herbst, you will not speak on me like this again. And
I do, however, want to point out that I think this was Bongi's worst game in a Springbok jersey ever. I felt like, well, firstly, those two tackles he missed right in the beginning of the game. I think South Africa missed 24 tackles in the first half.
That's
24 tackles.
I think it was 37 overall.
In the game, yes. 37 in the game, 24 tackles in the first half. And Bongi missed the first two. And his lineouts were... Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there.
I think the peace sign gives you balloons. I don't know.
And his lineouts were atrocious. I mean... Yeah. He wasn't finding anybody. And you can't say that was the pressure from the All Blacks, because the second Malcolm Marx came on and the second Cheslin Kolbe threw in, things were flawless. Malcolm Marx sorry, I'm going to rant on again. Malcolm Marx, I thought they should have given him man of the match for the 3
Don't
minutes
get me
play.
started. Like,
Shit, that was good.
guy, like the
Unbelievable.
impact I think that is his best performance off the bench ever. Like, it was explosive. I've never seen him so riled up, and his carrying looks stronger. Just everything looks so much better. So clearly, the fitter he gets, the better he's going to get. So please
Listen,
start him. I beg.
just the final thing before we move on quickly to the All Blacks. We spoke about how good Kolbe was, but the bigger question on my mind is, how on earth did he miss that drop goal? I think that drop goal is almost harder to miss than it was to put over. 7 meters out, straight in front, shanked it about 20 meters wide.
Why did he not go deeper? He literally, because look, like he got given the pass at such a speed, and then he kind of like he was in the wrong position, so you could see the drop kick just looked a bit spastic. If I could put it that way. Yeah, like it just didn't look like he even tried to. Like if he was deeper, he definitely starts.
But why is Kolbe there instead of Sasha?
Yeah, Sasha was right next to him. It was supposed to go to Sasha, and I think there was a forward in between Sasha and Jaden. So that's why Jaden improvised, and he said, "Okay, I'm passing to the next person that looks available." Kolbe got the ball. Was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah, it was quite funny.
It did look a bit.
That would have secured the game, right? Like that would have been done and dusted right there. Then, anyway, let's move on quickly to the All Blacks. Brevin, I'll come straight to you, right? What's next for the All Blacks? Is it doom and gloom seeing that they've lost 4 in a row to South Africa now, or is it? Well, we are world champions, and we literally pushed them to the final whistle in both games. Like, what is the expectation against the Wallabies?
I think the expectation against the Wallabies is 2 hidings. That's what Scott Robinson.
Okay, well, let's say for the end of the year then, because they've got a massive.
Okay, end of the year. I mean, they have Ireland, correct? England,
Ireland, France, 3 weekends in a row.
Oh my gosh, I see them winning. Possibly none of those at the moment if they play like they are. Let's be real. England took them to the wire in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
At Twickenham, it's a different ball game.
There's no more Twickenham. There's no more Twickenham.
Sorry, Allianz Arena. Sorry, never. I'm not going to be that guy. Still Ellis Park, still Twickenham. Anyways,
still Newlands.
Then you have France. They're a difficult side to. They're a difficult side to play in France. And then you have Ireland, who, let's give them credit, are a very good side. So the All Blacks will be looking probably to retain the Bledisloe Cup and win it comfortably. But things aren't looking great. I'll say that. I think there is a lot to improve on. And yes, I saw this clip of Mills Mulimaina and...
Mulimaina?
Muliaina. That's the one. Sorry. Yeah. I'm stumbling on my words, long day. And he was saying, yes, but we took the world champions to the
wire,
to the end or to the wire, you know, and we only missed the final by a kick. If Geordie got that kick, you know, things would be different. Blah blah blah. I think the All Blacks should realize that they are not up to the standard that they should be, and I think they need to acknowledge that. And that's how we did it in 2017. We knew. We are absolutely horrendous, and we made a change about it, and it took time to get to be the best, or a year and a bit, but it did. Eventually, it got there, and I think that the All Blacks have to have the same mindset now, because there's a cycle in life, you know. You'll be on the top for as long as you want, but someday, you know, you are going to not be on the top again, and you have to work 3 times as harder to get back up there. So there's a lot of work to do at the All Blacks, in my opinion.
Brett?
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think it's that far off, because if you play a guy like Wallace Satiti on flank, starting with Ethan Blackadder, you give the captaincy back to Artie Severe, that will actually make a better bloody decision than to kick for goal the whole time. That actually wants to play attacking rugby, because there was an argument with them on the field where Scott Barrett obviously overpowered Severe, where he said, let's go for goal, not a scrum. And then I think put Bowden Barrett back on 10, and you'll be back at your best. Oh, and I think there needs to be a change in the midfield. Your boy Proctor needs to play in the midfield there. And I think Will Jordan needs to be dropped from rugby as a whole. And I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, as you just mentioned, even if you want to maybe not even play Ethan Blackadder and Satiti at the same time, you can put one on the bench. I heard them talking about it, Mills Muliaina and I think it's Jeff Wilson that spoke about maybe putting Scott Barrett back as a Lucy, playing maybe the likes of a Tupuvai there with whoever in the locks, just to switch things up a bit. Build some more depth, build some more caps in that team, because obviously they've got a lot of inexperienced players there that kind of needs to find their feet as well. But I think they're missing a big thing in that 10 jersey. I know DMAC had a great game last weekend, but you still have Bowden Barrett there. And I think at the moment, like their 15 choice, the way that he played, Stephen Perofeta, he looked so good against England. Obviously, he's injured now, but as soon as he's back, he gives you that option. He can just fill in very nicely, where I don't think Will Jordan is diverse enough in terms of he can't kick as well. He's not that great in the air. I don't think he's the best defensively, where your 15 kind of needs to have that. And we got it, for instance, through Damian Willemse, right? Like he's very all-rounded, very good. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom.
Look,
they should smash the Wallabies.
Yeah, I don't think it's doom and gloom at all. I think it's more to do with there's a lot of things that the right calls aren't being made. Like you said, team selection. Like, for example, like you mentioned all of them, but another one is like they brought TJ and Bowden to, counteract our energy coming off the bench, and so that they could have theirs. And Bowden just wasn't Bowden coming off the bench. And
Exactly.
Bowden he's one of the best players in the world and one of the best players at 10. It's like, I know people think, but we have to make room for DMAC. Realistically, do you, after what you've seen so far this season, do you have to make room? Like, you have Bowden Barrett, who's won multiple World Player of the Years at 10, He's so good there, and his rugby IQ is levels above anyone in that backline. And if you put him at 10, things will look better for them on attack.
I feel like the issue with the All Blacks now, even like look at their games against England, Fiji, and in the Rugby Championship. How much squad rotation have they really done? We've seen the same players play the whole time, right? Like, look at how many boys we've fielded, right? Obviously, we've had massive rotations, but it's like they haven't even tried anything new. It's so confusing to me why you wouldn't even try anything new. Like, obviously, they played Will Jordan now at 15, but why didn't Anton and Brown maybe get a start? Why didn't Billy Proctor get a start? Stuff like that. Why didn't Bowden Barrett go into that 10 jersey or anything kind of like a massive decision? None of that has been taken. Like, hopefully they do that now against the Wallabies. Like, at some point, you need to change something. Otherwise, you're just going to sit with the same issue all the way. But anyway, let's move on. We just brought up the Wallabies. Boys. Just before halftime, 23 for the Wallabies. So like 34 minutes.
Yeah, so my story literally goes like this, right? I watched the first 30 and I saw 23, right? Then I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to chill. I got a bit tired and I put something else on to just fall asleep to whatever. Anyways, I didn't manage to fall asleep. I realized the time and I get this message on one of our rugby groups, and it's like someone that supports Australia in the Pirates community or whatever was like, what happened? And then they added him. And I was like, what do you mean what happened? They won. Surely they were going to dominate this. It was 20 points to 3. And I literally just see 67-27, mate. What's going on? And I was like, no ways. I quickly go check on Google because it will have the result there. And I'm like, yo, that is rough. And then I watched the highlights today and it's like they just had a brain fart. It was like, okay, we can play somewhat good rugby. We can beat Argentina convincingly in their own backyard. And then it was like, they quickly, after like 10 minutes before halftime, the Pumas get up to 17. Or sorry, I said the Pumas, I mean Argentina. And then, it said in 50 minutes they outscored them 60-something points to 7. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's exactly what happened to me. 9:05, I was tired. I was like, Okay, I'm gonna just watch until halftime, and then I'm going to bed. So by minute 25, I actually fell asleep. Like I didn't even get to go to bed. And then at 1 in the morning, I woke up, and then I thought, okay, cool. I'm completely wrong on SUPERBRU because I said Argentina's going to win, and Australia obviously hammered them. And then I go on SUPERBRU and I see I got the game right. It's like, how did I get points there? And then I saw the score. I was like, oh my word, I have to watch the highlights of this.
Yeah. I mean, it is ridiculous. A 94-point game
Yeah.
at international level. That is crazy. That is crazy. Literally, obviously, as you can tell, I wasn't awake, right? Like, I was in another universe last night. Woke up this morning with just my undies on, and I got a knock because they know at the wedding, they knew I'm a rugby guy. So they knocked and they're like, "Do you happen to see what happened at the Wallabies game?" Now, obviously, I saw nothing about it. I just Googled the score and I was like, what on earth did I just see? I go onto Twitter and I see a post of a guy that at halftime posted, "This is the best the Wallabies has played in years," right? That second 40 minutes is how you send the guy's opinion down the drain. They got smashed. That final 12 minutes, 4 tries, I think, in 12 minutes. Imagine if that was the first 12 minutes of the game, right? 28-0 after 12 minutes. Imagine you see a scoreline like that. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I personally think that breakdown that they had in that game is going to cost them dearly. Like, to be that far up and to lose that far, and just for that, it's going to break a lot of people's confidence and just like the belief in the system and everything. I personally think it's going to cause a lot of trouble within that team, like just as a collective.
Can we just go back to a few episodes and use the clip where I said that? Remember when all the content creators on that other app said that the order of the Rugby Championship is going to be New Zealand, South Africa, Pumas, Australia. And I said that it's going to be South Africa, Pumas, New Zealand, Australia. And as it stands now, currently, I'm spot on.
So, yeah, but you're going to be wrong, Brett. Because we're going to beat Argentina twice, right?
Yes.
Which means that New Zealand just needs one win over the Wallabies to go second.
Either way, South Africa is first.
Yeah, fair enough. I just felt like the Wallabies has spat all over me because I was so cocky last weekend, and I said I feel like the only guy backing this Wallabies team. If I watched this game at halftime, I would be tweeting, I would be making videos, and literally telling everyone, I told you, I'm hiding. I want to hide. What was that? That is an absolute travesty, and it's an utter embarrassment. Because Brevon, as you said, right, like that will do so much harm. The fact that they were in the lead, right? They knew they could smash this Argentinian team. That's how they played, right? But to get bummed like that right after you take a massive lead, that is terrible. Like, how do you even recover from that? It's like, are we ever safe in this game?
So, Brevon, I know he's calling on you, but I just want to add that person that tweeted, "This is the best rugby Australia's ever played." I can't remember a time, let's say the 25 minutes that I did watch. I can't remember a time in my entire life that Australia played that well. They played really well. It was almost a flawless performance until I fell asleep. So they can take, forget about the next 40 or 50 minutes of the game. They just need to take the first 30 minutes of that game and work on that, because that was proper rugby.
Yeah, but Brett, now they got smashed, and now they're going to play against a New Zealand team coming off 2 losses. That's probably a bit hurt. That no people doubt them now for the Bledders. Well, not anymore. But yeah, I think they're going to get smashed.
Well, what I will say is it will be a test of character of both teams, because we saw Ardie Surveyor. I don't know if you guys did. I saw an interview with Ardie Surveyor after the Cape Town game, and you could hear the hurt in his voice, and you could see it in his eyes. Yeah. And he just, it was his son's birthday apparently, and he just looked angry. Not angry, but he looked really upset. And that's when you know it means something to someone. So if the rest of the All Black players feel the same, and in the past we knew an All Black side that lost, the next person who got them was big trouble. If they can react that way, I think that will be great for them. But at the same time, the Wallabies cannot sulk about this loss to Argentina, because otherwise it could get ugly again. So yeah, it's going to be a test of character of both sides to see how badly they want to get back on track.
Boys, obviously we don't. Yeah, sorry, Brett, go.
I'm making it 1-1.
Are you going Australia to get a victory?
I think
At some
Australia's. I think they're getting a win. If New Zealand picks the same side, they play the same style of rugby, and they're very conservative. And Scott Robertson's whines before and in the middle of the game and after the game, like he has been in South Africa, I think that Australia could pull off, even if it's with 1 point. I feel like that first
would be
20
sexy.
flipping minutes, like, guys, go watch that game of Australia, Argentina. Just watch the first 20 minutes. If they can do that for 60 minutes against New Zealand, they'll beat New Zealand.
Australia will be the happier side if it's 1-1. That's what I'll say. The New Zealanders will be furious.
On the internet.
Yeah. Okay, boys, let's talk about Argentina, because obviously it's just the two of us that can still win the Rugby Championship. With the way that how up and down they are, obviously,
So,
I think we just need how many? 2 points?
yeah, 2 points. Yeah. It's something like that. Whatever. It's a minimal amount of points. But what I will say is, I expect Argentina to give us. It's probably going to be in South Africa. In South Africa, they're going to give us one hell of a game, like on another level. And the game they're going to give us in Argentina is going to be easy as day. So, and I don't say that because I just that's what they've been so far. They lost to France, a week in France, then they smash a week in France, then they lost, then they beat the All Blacks, then they lose, they get smashed by the All Blacks, then they just lose to Australia, and then they smash the Wallabies. It's like, can you make up your mind of what team you are?
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing is, like, we also sending 2 different squads, right? Like, so the boys already know who's traveling. They'll be ready for it, and I'm guessing we're keeping our strongest side for the home game if it comes down to that. So our boys will be mentally prepared for when that time comes. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of see like the same type of squad that we did against the Wallabies in that second game, like the likes of Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Steven Kitshoff, as Brett's mentioned before, Johan Grobler, maybe even more than Van den Berg and whatever.
Quick question:
like those guys.
Do you think Hanekom travels to Argentina? I'm not saying he does. I'm just asking. Do you think he travels with them?
I think he does play. I think he does play against Argentina at home.
At home?
Hanekom.
Yes.
Where's this come from?
He made his so apparently, not apparently. It's just everyone saying maybe he should go with the weaker side. Let's say
Yeah.
But he played against the Sharks and the Currie Cup, and the Bulls lost. But he looked fresh, pretty good off an injury. So
Because I can just
don't know
think
what
like
their thought process is with him.
The Lucies will be Marco van Staden and Ben Jason Dixon, and I think Jasper Wiese continues to play because he's got a weekend off now anyway. He's just came back from playing 2 games, right? So surely Jasper Wiese still plays, keep him match fit and whatever. I can't see. Maybe you guys know. Where does Hanekom fit in? Does he just go straight to the bench?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I actually want to take back what I just said. I don't think he'll play in this Rugby Championship. Might too at the end of the year. But also, this victory that Argentina just put over Australia, that 50 minutes that they just played, I think that changes everything for Rassi's plans. I think that he probably thought, I'll start Jan-Hendrik Wessels, a Grobler, a Vincent Koch, and whoever. But now, maybe I have to start, maybe still an Oxenchair and a Malcolm Marks, and maybe this, because you have to still secure that win.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a predicted lineup when we get there. But I still believe Malcolm travels. I think Malcolm's getting better the more he plays at the moment, and I think he starts as well. aren't Jan-Hendrik Wessel, surely those guys still play, but I'm wondering like what type of experience do we have? Because Marnie's probably going to play in that 10 jersey, do we think?
Yes. I also think that now I'm backtracking again. Hanekom could be drafted into the squad because Sia Kolisi is going for surgery.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Never know.
Well, with Sia
Just a
goes out,
question.
Marco van Staden just comes in.
Yes, but then who comes into Marco van Staden's place on the bench?
Yeah, but Marco van Staden wasn't on the bench for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just think that you still have to fill that spot in the squad.
Yeah, he'll probably come into the squad and then they'll see if he can run out for the green and gold. I wouldn't be surprised. He kind of deserves it with the season that he had. So, I mean, yeah. Brevin?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily. I'd maybe include him, but then again, it's a waste to the Bulls. But he has no need to play these next 2 games, in my opinion. Maybe if you really want to see what he can do, then you play him where you would off a bench in the game where you think like it's not as important. I don't know how to explain this like properly off the top of my head, but I think I'd probably include him in the end of year tour because aren't you playing Wales at the Millennium?
Yeah,
I'd eventually play him in that game. I'd start him to see what he could do. Yeah, I think he's still young. There's a better time to test him.
Just to tease the Welsh of what they could have had.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I don't know what Rusty's plans are. But
Anyway.
all I do know is, sorry, just quickly, the team we played in the second test against the Wallabies, I feel like if that team is played in Argentina, we might not walk away with the victory. Personally, I don't believe we will.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. I just want to ask you guys a final question. Do you have like slight nerves that we might be a bit too complacent, or do you think the boys will be ready? They know what's up for grabs. Or do we think maybe Argentina could best us twice? We know they've pulled us close a couple of times. They've beaten us a couple of times. They are pushing for history in terms of winning their first ever Rugby Championship. They don't deserve it. But I mean,
I also think it means a bit more to us, as much as it will mean to them. Don't get me wrong. We also haven't won the Rugby Championship since 2019, and that was only a shortened format of it. So we'll want to win the real thing properly, beat every single team both times. And then again, you get praise on your name and you get told you played in the best team of all time. So that's motivation enough for me, personally. But yeah, they're professional athletes, I don't think they will get complacent. Maybe in Argentina we could, I don't know. Let's just hope that we get both of them done. I don't see them beating us twice. However, like I said, I could see a slip up in Argentina. I personally could see that if the wrong selections are made.
Yeah, for me it's completely different. That test match that we lost to Ireland in that second test in Durban, I feel like that was 100% needed for the rest of this year for the Springboks because they know what happens when you get complacent. Ginger kicks 2 drop goals to win the game against you. So, no, I think that will not happen again. And they're going to go into both of these games wanting to absolutely dominate because just that stigma behind your name of if we lose one game to Argentina, oh, wait, they're not that good. It almost gives you that vibe that when we lost against Japan or against Italy, it's the same mindset that I get when I play against Argentina. Like, you can't lose to Argentina at any cost whatsoever. Not going to happen. Mustn't happen ever until I die. So I think the Boks have that same mentality.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up, people.
You?
Yeah, give your opinion.
I think
people love to hear what you have to say.
I think we smashed them both times. I agree, Brett, that loss was needed, but I think even if we rotate the squad like we did against the Wallabies, if we get some dry weather out there and you have Marnie and possibly Lukhanyo Ahmed inside center with Kane and Moody on outside center, I just get a feeling we might see that, right? I think we absolutely
Please
thrashed them. Because look at what as Brett said, look at what the Wallabies did in that first 25. I know they got smashed, right, because they couldn't get the ball again, the Wallabies. They never touched the ball. But that defense of Argentina is leaky. And our defense is not like the Wallabies at all. And we're not as ill-disciplined as the All Blacks were when they played. That you can literally score nearly 40 points of just pure penalties. I think 2 tries and the rest is all penalties, right? So I think all round we should be better, even if we make a couple of changes, because those boys, they'll be hungry. They know the role. They've been told even before these 2 New Zealand games that they are going to be the guys playing against Argentina. So yeah, I think we win both, and I think we win both comfortably, in my opinion. Anyway.
That second test, we're going to see Kwagga Smith and getting his 50th test cap, and we're going to see Willie get his 100th test cap in the same game if both of them play the next game.
That's cool. Kwagga, would you start Kwagga on his 50th, or would you just say, because you might bench,
no,
can you just come off the
I'll
bench for your 50th?
start him on the place where he got his name, the bench.
You know what's going to happen. It's going to be like Vincent Koch's 50th test, where Frans Malherbe said to him, sorry, Rassie, I'm not starting this game. It's his 50th cap. Let him start. And I think they're going to do the same with Kwagga.
I'd like to see him start.
Deserving.
Even though, of course. Like, you can't give the guy a 50th cap off the bench. Come on.
No,
it just doesn't work that way. But yeah, going to be interesting. Okay, boys, are we ready?
Let's wrap it up, boys. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We do appreciate you guys. Please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We do love you guys. And we will see you on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.